Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Word of Mouth TV. And we here again with your host, Golden Boy. So like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, click the link in my bio on my IG page. It'll lead you right to my YouTube, or just go directly to my YouTube, add Word of Mouth TV. Show love on my Instagram page and show love on the YouTube page as well. Yeah, anyway, let's get into this. I want to do my review on that No Limit versus Cash Money verses that they had and shit. And I just want to get my perspective on that. So yeah, let's get to it, you know what I'm saying? Without any further ado. So, as you all know, they had the No Limit versus Cash Money battle recently. Hold on, because somebody told me when I be making my videos, I be having shit on the corners of my mouth, so I don't want to be on camera today with shit on the corners of my mouth. I think I look cool today or whatever. I look presentable. But anyway, yeah, the No Limit versus Cash Money verses that transpired this past weekend on Saturday. And overall, you know what I'm saying? I feel like this should have happened a long time ago, but I'm saying let's just be grateful that it did happen. They probably should have did it during when verses had first initially started. You know what I mean? They should have started it off with the No Limit versus Cash Money, and called it the Battle of New Orleans or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, they had the verses this past weekend and shit, and it was the location was in Las Vegas. I don't know why they chose that venue to do the verses, but they chose Vegas and shit. Hold on, y'all. They really should have did it in New Orleans or somewhere down south where both of them are from. They both out of New Orleans, but more of the fan base would have been down south, and I think the crowd would have been more rowdy or whatever. But like I said, I had caught it initially. I jumped on because I was having problems finding who was motherfucking playing it or where to go to view it or whatever. So I came in like 20 minutes late, but I ended up watching the entire thing afterwards. I went to YouTube and I got to check it out there. So after viewing the whole situation, when I was first watching it, that was like my initial first thought was this shit kind of reminded me of the Dipset versus the Lox battle with No Limit being the Lox and Cash Money on that being Dipset. And what I mean by that is, on the Cash Money side, as far as Birdman, like, he thought actually that popping his shit and stunting and talking about your jewelry and just being loud and just flamboyant and all that, he thought that was going to be able to cut it to get them a W, and that just wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about your clothes, your jewelry, your gold teeth. Bro started going off about how he was the first one to do that, the first one to do that, which is all cap. That's false, because if you go back in time, nigga, you wasn't the first one to have diamonds. You wasn't the first one to be stunting. All you gotta do is do research, so I don't know why he takes that, act like he the one that started that. He can't have that title because it's false. People was doing that shit way before you. People had diamonds and shit. Matter of fact, Little Flip was one of them. Go look at Little Flip's first albums and shit. Nigga had diamonds all in his teeth. Way before Birdman even came out. And I can name a list of people and go on and on and on as far as we're going to talk about stunting and just being flamboyant and shining and flexing and all that. But yeah, Baby Birdman goes on a rant about, I had all this, sounding like a little kid, you know what I'm saying? This nigga damn near in his 60s. I think the correct age of Birdman is 57, 56, 58, somewhere in that range. But the nigga was sounding like hella dumb, like a buffoon, like, and I was just thinking, like, because every time I hear him really speak or do an interview or have you any type of a conversation, I'm like, damn, this nigga has the IQ of a motherfucking pea or something. Like, his brain's like the size of a fucking BB and a BB gun, like. And I just be thinking to my mind, like, how did this nigga with this low ass IQ build that motherfucking dynasty of Cash Money Records? And it just couldn't be just him. You know what I mean? It has to either be Slim, the one with the brain, the one that knows how to have an intellectual conversation and knows how to choose and pick his words carefully. Because Birdman just be sounding like on some nigga shit. Like, he don't have no type of professionalism at all. You know what I mean? He just be sound like a child and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just blurting all this nonsense. This is a Cash Money versus No Limit event. He talking about some NBA young boy type shit. Like, what about Cash Money? What about the shit that you built or whatever? So I always like, damn, he can't be the one completely, fully behind the building and establishing Cash Money. It's got to be some smart white niggas or some type of motherfuckers with brain that's overlooking all the paperwork and doing the deals and signing shit. Cause Baby just don't seem like the most professional nigga at all. Like that nigga is just like he coming off kind of corny. Like nigga, get on your grown man shit. But anyway, let's be continuing. I'm getting a little sidetracked. I had to just go in on Baby's ass real quick, but because he was looking just like a buffoon, silly with the shit. So yeah, you know, as they got to playing the songs or whatever, you know what I'm saying? On the No Limit side, it just feel like, well, not even feel like they were more organized, they were more in sync, they had better energy, they all were on the same page, they delivered the songs like how they was supposed to deliver, you know what I'm saying? They had them anthems, them street anthems from back in the day and shit, you know what I mean? That motherfuckers was hitting at that time. Like, a lot of people forget to, you know, go back in history and remember that run that No Limit had, you know what I'm saying? That nigga had albums, man. That nigga, I ain't never seen a motherfucker put out more albums, as many as Master P released during his run. Like, the nigga had the record stores on lock, like when CDs and tapes and all that shit was still a thing, right? Versus the Cash Money side, it just seemed like they was discombobbled. Like Juvenile, he would stand out as he did his thing and shit. He kind of like carried because the rest of them niggas, it just didn't have no rhythm to it. It just looked unprofessional like a motherfucker, you know what I mean? Yeah, Juvie did a lot of joints off his 400 degrees, which I knew he was gonna do because shit, No Limit don't got no 400 degrees over there. So that right there alone, you know what I mean? Cash Money would stand out with that. But when I was thinking about the verses, I was like, shit, as far as hit, like if they're gonna go hit for hit, commercially and like as far as commercial success and having big like records and sync, you know, hit records and all that, Cash Money, they do got a lot of that. I don't know if it was the selection of the songs, why that shit wasn't hitting how it was supposed to, because going into it, I'm like, damn, Cash Money got way more songs than No Limit. How's this gonna play out? Even though I was gonna ride with No Limit regardless or whatever, because I can remember the time No Limit was on. But Cash Money, people keep calling me. I'm trying to do this video. I want to get this video done. Cash Money just like it didn't. They seemed like that shit didn't have no rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like all over the place. Birdman was like, you know, he obviously was drunk or intoxicated. That nigga should slow down, bro. He been with young boy and shit. He living his rock and roll lifestyle, bro. You better slow down this shit for your body slow you down and park you. Gonna be in somebody's hospital, nigga, acting like you still young with this shit, nigga. You better start exercising, get you some rest, nigga. Eat some vegetables instead of being out here this motherfucker talking about you the first nigga with gold teeth. Like, who the fuck cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that have to do with this verses and playing song for song? Like, that ain't got nothing to do with the song. And back to Birdman, that nigga was forgetting his lyrics, couldn't remember his words. They had to help the assistant nigga with the songs. Then y'all noticed that Lil Wayne, he didn't do no pop outs. He didn't show up. On the No Limit side, they had more camaraderie. Snoop popped out, showed out for No Limit, did his little one verse, boom. That verse got the crowd lit, you know what I mean? So to me, it was a clear W for No Limit. It wasn't really even close, you know what I'm saying? P, you know what I'm saying, showed some grown man shit and walked over there and, you know, stuck his hand out and shake niggas' hands, gave acknowledgement, you know what I'm saying? The grown man route, you feel me? And Birdman was kind of like acting like how Gucci was at the Jeezy versus Gucci battle, you know what I'm saying? Like, he had a chip on his shoulder or whatever, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. So, basically, the conclusion is that, you know what I mean, No Limit came in there and did what needed to be done. It was a win overall for New Orleans and for the hip-hop culture and shit because, you know, ain't really too much stuff on these days besides sports, so it was a good thing that they did that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to get my 2 cents on that, on the verses and shit. Shout out to No Limit with the W and shit. Yeah, so like I said, like, share, subscribe. This is Word of Mouth TV. I'm your host, Golden Boy. Support the movement. Gone.